professional sports can be a rough business. It's the truth. I mean, so many businesses can be rough businesses, really. But trades are one of the ways that manifests itself, because we see the surprise that can happen. I mean, the Luka Doncic trade, one of the most surprising, if not the most surprising trade in the history of trades. And you saw how hurt and angry Luka Doncic was by that trade. And he's a superstar. Now, in the WNBA, there's been a lot of movement and trades. And in one of them, one of the players who wasn't as talked about as much in the movement was Natasha Cloud, of course, formerly of the Phoenix Mercury and now of the Connecticut Sun. And at the time, some people were kind of like, about her role in the trade, because previously at Unrivaled, she had said this about recruiting Satu Sabali to Phoenix. When Sabrina Ionescu was talking, Natasha Cloud wound up speaking about it.
So it's been cool to hear and get to know a lot of the players that, we're all kind of in this together.
Tosh, how do you recruit?
What's your pitch?
Yeah.
Honestly, I was gonna say the same thing. Obviously, this is the best place to be able to recruit free agents, but at the end of the day, like, I'm very much a person that's whatever is best for Satu moving forward, that's what I want for Satu moving forward. If that is Phoenix, I literally will tell her I will give up my apartment if she wants that too. But for me, the human of Satu needs to be happy so that the player of Satu can really thrive and just reach her full potential on the court. And so it's a really cool dynamic. Obviously, like, there is. You can see when people are like huddled up and talking, and we'll be like, no, let me get in here and break it up. Like, but it's a good time. But yeah, we just want players to be where they're going to be appreciated, valued, and just kind of seen. Yeah.
Some nice words from her there, but I had also seen other videos where she was touting, playing for the Mercury and the way that they were treated in the facilities. So when she wound up being traded, caught off guard, naturally, understandably. She's traded to the Connecticut Sun, a team in complete shambles. They had lost their entire starting five from the last game played in the playoffs. They've lost, Marina Mabrey, we're assuming, because she's requested a trade. So she goes from a situation that she loved and a situation where she thought she could be a part of a winning team to being traded unceremoniously, as one of the, forgotten parts of a deal, to a place that is falling apart at the seams. At least that's the way it must seem. And when she was asked after her latest Unrivaled game what that trade felt like and meant, this is what Natasha Cloud had to say.
We'll go to David.
Hi, Tosh. Good to see you again. What have the past couple of weeks been like for you, just since the trade, going to Connecticut, and just your initial impressions joining the Sun?
The last few weeks, hi David, thank you for your question. The last few weeks have been a whirlwind, to say the least. I think for the public view, if this isn't proof enough of the business of the NBA, the WNBA, any professional sports, this is what it is. It's really hard to be loyal to organizations in this situation when you can just eat up and move no matter what. And so that was really hard for me, uprooting my family to West Coast, being told that I was going to retire as a Phoenix Mercury, and then to be shipped out and find out with you guys on social media. That was really fun for me. So that part of it was really hard, even harder being sent to Connecticut as a 33-year-old. It just wasn't what I expected. Not for the tenure that I've had, not for the loyalty that I presented. So I just want the best situation for myself and my family moving forward. And I just want to be in an organization that truly invests from top to bottom, facilities, team, location, all of that. I want to compete for championships. So I don't know if that necessarily answers your question, but that's how I'm feeling right now. And that's my truth.
The Sun doesn't sound like she wants to be there. And remember, they had to share their practice facility with a kid's birthday party and stuff like that. So not exactly a thriving situation. Now, as far as the rest of it, there's going to be a lot of people on social media I can't believe she found out on social media. That happens all the time. As quickly as stories are broken, it's tough. I actually don't even put that on the organization so much because sometimes there's probably nothing they can do, right? Like you have to handle these things and these deals discreetly, or else they might fall apart. Once they happen, if they're reported or leaked to anybody, they can put that out within seconds. So you might not be able to make the call that you would. If you just ignore doing that part, if you don't call, that's on you. But I feel like that's kind of the nature of the biz and the way that the media works nowadays. You would like, as a human, you would like somebody to reach out and talk to you first. And that's the way it should be done, but it's not always the way it can be done nowadays. And as a human, I feel for Natasha Cloud. I see those emotions. They're raw, they're real. The part about it that I think resonates the most with me is if somebody tells you that you're going to retire someplace, you would hope that's not baloney and BS, though you have to understand it is a business. The rest of it is the nature of the business, right? Like Dennis Schroeder was just traded 4 times in the NBA or whatever. That's just the way these trades work. And unfortunately, it is cold. It's cold biz, but there's a lot of upside to these business. Now in the WNBA, they're not being paid like NBA players, which makes it a whole lot different. Of course, the level of compensation. Luckily, she's making some nice money at Unrivaled, but the human element, you feel that way. I'm not so sure if the Phoenix Mercury did her dirty or not, other than the stated we're going to retire here. That you shouldn't say that to somebody if you don't mean it. But I guess everything that people say, they're not etching on a tablet and proclaiming from a mountaintop either. Regardless, the Mercury were doing what they thought they needed to do to rebuild their franchise. And unfortunately for Natasha Cloud, she was collateral damage, and it sucks extra for her because she seemed to love it there. And she seemed genuinely caught off guard. So that's kind of, it'll be interesting to see if the Sun because Mabry's requested a trade. I mean, Cloud would be kind of just sitting there. Like, what's left for me if she was still a part of the Sun after this deal went down. But, I hear all the time about players finding out on social media. It's certainly not ideal, but that part of it didn't floor me or anything like that. But Natasha Cloud seems like a genuine soul. So hoping she winds up in the situation where she can thrive. But, that's what happens when people are traded and these big, massive trades go down. And maybe it felt better to get it out into the air, but it kind of hits you a little bit more too, because of what people were talking about regarding how she had vouched for the Mercury so much in the past.